So, the last programme in the series, and I'm in Udaipur, Rajasthan. It, like Cochin and Kerala, is known as the Venice of the East. It is the land of the once powerful rulers of Rajasthan, the Maharanas, who lost that power when the British left India. But now, this exotic state with its fine palaces has become a popular tourist destination. This is Lake Pichula, where the once fabled Lake Palace was built on an island in 1754 by the Maharana Jagat Singh. This symphony of marble was converted into a hotel in the 60s when it attracted the royal, the rich and the famous, from Queen Elizabeth II to Goldie Hawn. It's a long, winding and bumpy road into the barren hills of this water-starved state. Occasionally, deep wells provide irrigation for small parcels of fertile crops, but overall, the region is dying of thirst. In this remote village of Imlipura, 250 souls of the Bill tribe eke to living, but now, because of the continuing drought, the men have left the fields for the mines. In this spotlessly clean 200-year-old stone house, Ambala, his wife, 2 children and a goat eat, sleep and live. While his wife prepares a simple curry of onions and chilies, Ambala is making rotis, or bread, called chapatis. And in the corner, while the newest arrival slumbers in her basket, Ambalal's mother is quietly grinding corn, with a serene acceptance that their daily routine has been turned upside down by a visiting film crew. Despite the harsh, dry climate which hampers the production of crops, Rajasthani cuisine is very varied, though most villagers will eat lots of corn, lentils, beans and vegetables enriched with ghee and buttermilk. But, throwing the budget to the wind, I elected to splash out on some exotic kebabs and a sumptuous mutton curry. It's such a nice day, I thought we'd have a barbecue today, but a Rajasthani barbecue, Indian barbecue. First thing I'm going to do is some chicken with ground ginger and garlic, fenugreek seeds, cinnamon powder and salt and hung yogurt. Now this means yogurt they've put into a muslin sack so all the liquid's drained out of it and it's quite thick. First I'll add fenugreek seeds, some ginger and garlic puree, then some ground cinnamon and some salt. Mix that all together and then tip in the chicken pieces into that. Normally you'd put that in the fridge for about an hour and then put them onto skewers. The second one, very similar but different flavours altogether, is a fish one. Again, with pureed garlic and ginger goes in. A tablespoonful of gam flour, which is in fact the flour from ground chickpeas. Some chaat masala, quite a tangy mixture of spices. You can buy it in the Asian shops very easily. We mix all that up together, a bit of lemon juice. So similarly, the fish goes into there, and we'll let that marinade for an hour or so. Right, next, a great favourite of mine is the lamb kebab. First of all, we have some minced lamb, which we'll put into the bowl. Then we'll add some garam masala. This is bay leaves, cloves, cardamom, nutmeg and so on as usual. Black peppercorns crushed, a little salt, some very finely chopped green chilies, freshly chopped coriander, and some onion and garlic paste. Now these we mix up like so. Again, refrigerate, and later we'll form them into little sausage shapes and put them on the skewer. Now, my next dish is called nomad lamb curry. That doesn't mean to say the curry goes wandering around the countryside. It's the sort of curry that the goat herders and the camel drovers will cook on the road as they drift around the place. The first thing we have to do is light the gas. Now, when I was talking about garam masala just now, that's exactly what it is. Bay leaves, cardamom pods and cinnamon sticks. So the first thing we do is we crackle these in the fat. And this crackling business releases the flavour. As soon as they've crackled a little, we stir in some chopped onion, then some garlic and ginger paste, stir that round, and then a big dollop of this lovely, fiery red chilli paste, really rich and really hot. Cook that for a few moments, then the meat, and then let this cook for a good hour and a half or so, because when the dish is finished, the meat will be terribly tender. So, the meat and the fish have marinated. I've put them on the skewers. Now we just have to cook them. One more lamb, then finally the fish. Now, while they're cooking, a really delicious relish or pickle to go with any kind of barbecued meats or fish is a mint and apple chutney. It's very simple. Fresh mint leaves, fresh coriander leaves, green chopped chilli, and some apple in lemon juice. So I'll put some coriander and some mint and some chilli into there. And then we'll add some apple and lemon juice into the little bowl, press the button and whisk it for a few seconds. We'll whack in the rest of it, the rest of the apple. And there it is. Nothing could be simpler, nothing could be more tangy and refreshing. And it goes magnificently with any kind of barbecued meats, fish, chicken, whatever. Now there's a splendid feast. Very simple. Shish kebabs, minced lamb and spices and herbs, chicken marinated in yogurt and spices and herbs, and fish with yogurt and turmeric and spices. Absolutely delicious, terribly simple, lemons and onions. And a very rich, very tender, but very spicy, slowly simmered nomadic lamb curry. These gentle and hospitable people live by the monsoon, and this evocative dance is a plea to the gods for good rains, and also thanks in anticipation. Back in the city, you will see some magnificent palaces. None more so than this one, the City Palace, as it is named. It was started in 1559 and was home, I use the word lightly, to 22 Maharanas, but not completed for another 400 years. At its glorious peak, the palace had 2,000 rooms, 4 kitchens and 1,000 servants to lavish sumptuous food and attention on the Maharana, his family and guests. But not until a squad of hired foodies tasted the grub to ensure it was truly fit for a king. Although today it is mostly a museum, and a very fine monument it is, the descendants of the royal family still occupy a substantial wing. In my travels around the world, I have seen more markets than I can remember, and only a few remain in my memory. But the 300-year-old Dan Mandi, translated means grain bazaar, will be amongst them. The sacks of deep, bleeding red-hot chilies, the outstanding variety of vegetables, the huge bowls of rice, pulses and corn, the gentle mayhem as porters push carts through the torrent of scooters, the cows that amble unconcerned, thinking their cow thoughts, hoping to find something to munch, the startlingly beautiful colours of the women's saris, and the smiling faces of the children create the essence of this wonderful region. It's a great place for my next sketch. My first dish this morning is a typical Rajasthani dish called murg kadhi, which is chicken cooked in yogurt sauce. To make the yogurt sauce, we have fresh yogurt mixed with turmeric and chickpea flour, and it ends up looking like that. And of course, some pieces of chicken on the bone. Then we have ground coriander, fresh ginger, fresh chilies, chili powder, dried chilies, pepper seeds, coriander seeds, curry leaves, onions, and tomatoes. The first thing we have to do is crackle the mustard seeds and the coriander. So we add a little oil into here. In with some mustard seeds and the coriander seeds and some curry leaves. Now that's the crackle I wanted. Next we add the onions and the tomatoes, then the chilli, green chilli, the finely chopped fresh ginger, just a little bit of coriander powder. Then we add the chicken pieces and let them saute gently away. While over here, I'm going to do a very colourful Rajasthan vegetable dish, which has got beans, mushrooms, tomatoes, onions, peas, carrots, peppers, cauliflower, and then some cumin seeds, coriander seeds, and dried chilies. First thing again, as before, we put some oil into the thing and crackle the cumin seeds, the coriander seeds, and the red chilies. Then we'll add in the onions, the peppers, carrots. Now, to make it really tasty, some ghee. Cauliflower. Beans. The tomato. And finally, the green peas. And we let that stir fry away. Meanwhile, over here, give the chicken a stir. At this stage, we'll add some dried red chilies. Meanwhile, these are practically cooked. They should be al dente. It's quite interesting how many Indian dishes are, in fact, very quickly cooked and quickly prepared. And then to finish this dish, we add some tomato puree. And we'll let that simmer away another 10 minutes or so. Meanwhile, the chicken is now nicely sealed. So at this stage, we turn the heat right down, very low, otherwise the sauce will curdle. We now tip the sauce in. And we let that simmer away until the chicken is beautifully tender and all the flavours of the spices have been amalgamated with the yoghurt sauce. And on that note, I think I'll have a slurp. It's jolly hot. It's about 45 degrees here today. But the beer is icy cold, so it's okay. Two local and traditional dishes, Murg Kadai, succulent pieces of chicken in a herb and fenugreek flavoured yoghurt gravy. And second, Sabzi Kada Masala, a preparation of fresh vegetables stir-fried with whole spices in an exotic tomato sauce. About 50 kilometres southeast of Udaipur is Jaisamand Lake, one of the largest man-made lakes in Asia. But the outstanding feature is the dam, incidentally built by Maharana Jai Singh from 1654 to 1660 to collect the monsoon rain that cascaded from the surrounding mountains. It is a spectacular edifice, a tribute to both the architectural and engineering skills of the 17th century and the Maharana's vision. The step dam is ornamented with domes and rampant elephants. It is now a wildlife sanctuary and home to a huge variety of bird life, including parrots, herons, flamingos, cranes, cormorants, kingfishers, and the indigenous tiffin bird. India introduced the world to sugar, made from sugarcane of course, but charmingly described by Alexander the Great in 327 BC as a type of reed that yielded honey without bees. Here, women are harvesting the cane, and without the aid of mechanization, India produces over 23 million tons a year. The method of making sugar here hasn't changed for centuries. Quite simply, the cane is forced through the press, The raw syrup runs down a bamboo pipe and into the wok, where it's purified with caustic soda. It's gently heated until the crystals form, and it's poured into moulds and taken to market. The name of raw sugar is called good or jaggery. It's also known as the villager's sugar because it's very cheap. They use it for making sweets and also for making drinks. The colour of the sugar reflects the type of soil that it was grown in. The better the soil, the darker the texture and the sweeter the sugar will be. But in many parts of the world, this beautiful stuff is bleached to make it white. In streets all over India, vendors sell sugarcane juice, usually flavoured with lemon and ginger, for about 4p a glass. The cane is crushed 3 times in belt-driven mangles known as chakhars. Thank you. Well, this is hardly a sugar-free drink. It's absolutely delicious. Oh, I could give out alcohol for this. But not, of course, cooking. And I'm off to my hotel kitchen for my next sketch. So, let's do cooking. Throughout my trip in India, I've had some wonderful vegetarian food, but quite the best I've ever had is stuffed potatoes. So quite simply what I've done is peeled these potatoes into a barrel shape, then with an apple corer, made a hole through the middle, and then deep fried them, put them to one side. But before that, I boiled some chilies, some cashew nuts and some onions and pureed them into this lovely white paste. I've also pureed some green chilies, some coriander and some mint to make this lovely paste. I've also pureed some ginger and garlic. Then I've got fresh ginger, fresh chilies, fresh coriander, cottage cheese, sultanas and nuts. So first of all, we put the grated cottage cheese into the mixing bowl here. I suppose you could use something like softish feta cheese if you can't get the Indian original. Some sultanas, some toasted cashew nuts, add some chopped ginger, some chopped green chilies, and some chopped fresh coriander, and some cumin powder. Then we mix that up like so, and then stuff the little potato case really tight with this mixture. Push it in as tight as you can get it. So as you can see, I've already done about 8 already, like so. Then we'll heat a little oil in the kadai. As soon as that warms through, we'll fry the ginger and garlic paste. Then we'll mix in the mint and coriander puree, stirring all the while, not too fierce a heat because you don't want it to burn. Then the puree of onions, cashew nuts and green chilies. Let that cook for about 2 or 3 minutes, and then quite simply you pop in the potatoes and cook slowly so that the stuffing inside is nicely cooked and the potatoes are hot again. This dish in particular shows how important it is that you prepare your lovely masalas, your purees, well in advance. It's the loving care that goes into the dish before it's cooked that makes Indian food such fun. Also, it makes it so easy to cook when you've had everything all organised and all ready. So with egg timer precision and by the magic of television, on to our next dish. This one involves chicken tikka, already cooked in the tandoori oven. The chicken's been marinated in garlic paste, chili paste and yogurt and some ground garam masala powder and cooked in the tandoori oven. It's cold. But first of all, I boiled some tomatoes with garlic and onions and garam masala ground down to a powder like that. And that whole lot, when cooked for a couple of hours, ends up as this lovely, rich, red gravy. Here we're going to use some ghee. Ghee makes dishes very rich, and this is a dish for people who haven't got any kind of heart problems or blood problems because it's incredibly rich. So the ghee goes in first, then our chopped garlic. Let that take colour and cook through a little while. soon as that is cooked, we add some sauce, some gravy. Again, I emphasize that it's the preparation in advance. You could do all of this the day before your dinner party very easily. So on the evening, you just assemble it as quickly as I'm doing it now. No sweat at all. Then we put our chicken pieces in, just simmer gently to heat them through. And now for the real heart attack stuff, some lovely Indian honey in to sweeten it, and some fresh cream. I told you this isn't for the faint-hearted. And then finally, we'll sprinkle in some fenugreek leaves. Just let that simmer gently until the whole thing is hot and ready to serve. Simplicity itself. This, one of my favorite dishes of the whole trip. Potatoes stuffed with cashew nuts, raisins and cottage cheese and simmered in a spicy mint gravy. And last but by no means least, a heart-stopping concoction of succulent tandoori chicken spiced lightly with all the wonderful spices of India in a rich tomato sauce with cream and fenugreek seeds. The sun is setting, a hot day draws to a close. Oh, the romance of it all. Thinks. I wish I'd brought my dictionary of traveller's quotations. I'm sure I could have ripped off a good line from Rudyard Kipling. He had a thing or two to say about India. Well, this is the end of my journey here in Udaipur. And what a journey it's been. The food has been fantastic, by and large. And there must be more recipes for masalas than there are for sexual positions in the Kama Sutra. And what of the Indians? Well, on one hand, they're charming, courteous, polite, and very generous and gentle. On the other hand, they're a bunch of bandits ripping you off at the drop of a hat. But I suppose the highlight of the whole place really for me has been in Udaipur and Jaipur. The people are really nice. There are camels, there are elephants. You really, really feel that you are deep, deep in India. And as for the food, it for me has been the best of the whole trip. Oh, by the way, I've written a book to accompany this series. It's called Floyd's India, and it includes all the recipes I've shown you and more. And of course, it's available from all good bookshops.